Haven't tried the Locklicious all-natural hair care product line? Well, let's hear what the Lock community has to say about it.
I love how it sprays and how it feels, you guys. Like, it feels so good. And it smells amazing, you guys.
The Lock and Twist moisturizer was really good for me. The hydration mist was phenomenal.
This is the bomb, baby. I was really impressed, kind of blown away, and I think that if you're struggling, definitely go check them out.
And check out the 5-star reviews on our website. So, what are you waiting for? Go to locklicious.com to start treating your crown like royalty.
Check, 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 check. How's everybody out there doing? How's everybody out there doing? Family, thumb up the video and share the live stream. Thumb up the video and share the live stream because, yeah, it's one of those. It's gonna be one of them lives today. It's gonna be one of those lives today. Shout out to everybody who had a beautiful weekend. I appreciate everybody that's been supporting the videos. I've been bringing more content to the channel, right? You requested it. So by your request, I've been putting out more content. As a result, the people have definitely been engaging. So thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you to all of our moderators in the building. I see you, Yosef Yisrael. Wolf Benjamite, souls of our ancestors. What up? Gabriel. Ya Asentiwa, daughter of Zion. Keandre, More Keandre, Uriah Victorious. I see you all. So yeah, guys, this is going to be a very, very enlightening live stream. I don't usually respond to everybody's video about me. There are a lot of people that make videos about me. And it comes with being a person of notoriety. All right, being a person of notoriety or being a public figure, there's nobody that's above reproach. There's no one that's above critique. And so by all means, you know, it's to be expected that someone is going to disagree with your views, right? You could look at some of the most well-respected people in the world and somebody got a YouTube video dissing them. So somebody going at you on YouTube, it says nothing about your character, right? Because the reality is most people want to be able to say something about you. And I learned from a very young age that if people aren't talking about you, if you aren't the talk of the town, then maybe, just perhaps, you're not doing enough. All right? Thumb up the video, guys, and share the live stream because this one is definitely going to be one for the books. Moderators, if you can, please put our class info, our Patreon info right on the screen so people can see how they can reach us via Patreon as well as via our classes, zionlex@gmail.com. We also have a very, very special lecture tonight going a little bit more invasive into the history of the Khazars and their relationship to Gog and Magog. You don't want to miss that. You got to sign up on Patreon for that. You must be a Patreon Gold or Platinum member to view that. All right. We have so many membership tiers on our Patreon, but to view and get exclusive access to our best lectures, you got to be a Gold or Platinum member. So make sure, again, that's a lecture tonight that we're doing, a more invasive look on the origin of the Khazars and their connection to the biblical Gog and Magog. Make sure you tune in to that. All right, with that being said, we got a bunch of people in the building, family. Please, please, thumb up the video. Thumb up the video, all right? Thumb up the video. Now, here is where we're going to begin. I did a video response to Vocab Malone, who I have surnamed All Cap Malone. And I noted in the video that when he sat down with Dr. Michael Heiser, that there were several things that he said that I and many people in our community, we took issue with. And so I challenged him on a number of the things that he mentioned in that video. And since he has posted on his YouTube channel 5 to 6 video responses that actually have nothing to do with anything that I said to him recently. The method that he chose to respond to me with was to use a video that dates almost a full year ago, a series of videos by his Bodega boys, also known as the Helmet Squad or Shields and Buckler Squad people thingy stuff. And so he took their response to me over a year ago on my usage of the term Elohim and me talking about the divine qualities inherent within women. And Vocab used that to respond to my recent video about his sit down with Dr. Michael Heiser. And so I just want to make something clear from the outset, because I know that people are smart. Why hasn't he responded to what I actually said? In fact, the response videos that he's put up on YouTube doesn't involve him responding at all. Vocab, I was talking to you, buddy. And so I know I get it. When you're a big deal, people believe and feel to themselves that they got to form Voltron to deal with you. As you guys know, this is nothing new to me. People have been trying to form Voltron to take me down for years, and it has never worked. Because there's one thing that I got to tell you. There's one thing I got to say with my chest out. You can try all you want to bring somebody down and to take them down, but no man can curse who God has blessed. You can try to smear me. You can, get personal. Where your scholarship, fails, people tend to get personal as well, right? And so no matter what you do, you don't have the power to bring me down. The only one that can bring me down is God Almighty. But I gotta say to Vocab, I don't like using certain strong words. But it's a coward move of you to do 5 to 6 video responses to me addressing you and Dr. Michael Heiser on some very specific issues. And not only do none of your video responses actually have you responding to me, but none of them are even responding to the critique that I placed upon you and Dr. Michael Heiser. And that's why last week I gave you a new name in the conscious community. Your name is all cap Malone, because you all cap. Because how do you call that responding to me when first and foremost, you haven't responded to me? So the first thing we're going to do, guys, is we're going to be fair. And I wanted to say, and I'm going to say that initially, I didn't respond to this group that did a video attack on my scholarship over a year ago, or almost a year ago now, because to be honest, with certain people and certain levels of scholarship, you shouldn't even have to feel compelled to dignify low-level, low-budget scholarship with your response. And when you go to their channel, they had maybe 400 plus views in over a full year. And let me just tell you, when we first started out on YouTube, you don't get that many views. But goddamn, 400 plus views in a full year? Bruh, that's you and your family watching the video over and over. Nobody else is watching what you have to say, just so you know. But then Vocab, pissed off, clearly pissed off, that I chin-checked him and his master teacher, Dr. Michael Heiser, and he chose not to respond to me directly because you probably actually have to have some testicular fortitude to do that, right? So instead, he chose to use his cronies, his Bodega boys, to respond to me. And we're going to play their video response right now. And I'm going to critique live what they had to say. Let's get it.
What we're talking about is there are certain parts of the Bible that speak of the Creator as masculine. But if you truly understand the biblical vernacular, the language, you understand that what we call God in Hebrew is Elohim.
Y'all might remember this video, right? This was when I was in Beverly Hills a year ago. Flew to LA, had an amazing lecture, met up with some celebrities that I haven't seen ever. And we dialogued, and it was a powerful event. Son of the TV came, and he filmed my event. Many Israelite brothers came out. Shout out to the Hebrew Israelites of California. Many of them came out and supported me, and so I respect that. So to top off that 3 or 4 days I was there, the last night that I was in LA, I was asked by Sonetta and Brother Polite to come to Beverly Hills, to go to Polite's skyscraper thingy. Right? And come and have a final debate with him. And we all know how that debate turned out. And again, even looking at the video, we know what came from that debate also, right? Some charges. But not being with said, let's play this video and let's do what we do best. Let's go in.
What we're talking about is there are certain parts of the Bible that speak of the Creator as masculine. But if you truly understand the biblical vernacular, the language, you understand that what we call God in Hebrew is Elohim. The term Elohim ends with what we call a masculine plural, but it begins with a feminine noun, Elo. So that means that the term Elohim, which we're calling God, is composed in biblical Hebrew of female first. Hold on, listen. Watch this. Listen. You're talking to somebody with 27 years of teaching biblical Hebrew. So listen to this. I'm 41 years old. So listen to this. The biblical word for God is Elohim. It ends with a masculine plural, but it begins with a feminine noun, Elo. So that means the very idea of God begins with the feminine concept. Just like we know in reality, who are your first gods? Your mother and your father. But the God that you know, that whose womb you came from, was what? A woman. So let's be clear.
Stop there.
I just think that it's interesting to say that the Black woman is God. I would like to know what the definition of God.
Okay, so let me stop there, because from the outset, there's a problem with the commentary. So the first person to give a commentary is one of the women who forms part of, I guess, the Bodega boys. And her comment is to say that she doesn't understand the equation of the Black woman to God. And so I want to make it clear, because what people tend to do, especially on YouTube, is people take a quotable, people take a couple of words, right? A caption here, a caption there, make an entire video on it, and then misconstrue your entire dialogue, argument, focus, and direction. And so I'm always leery of that, because when you watch that whole video in full, you will see that the very basis of me even mentioning the divine qualities within a woman is because Brother Polite had mentioned that in ancient Kemet, right, in Medu Neter, the writing system, and in Medu Neter, the language, that women are akin to and correlate with the divine, or i.e. God. And then he's turned around and said, well, you know, the Abrahamic faiths are not like that. They're so patriarchal. And, you know, there's no male God. There's no, you know, there's no male and female God. Everything is masculine, you know, and women aren't respected in the Bible. So here I come, you know, who am I, right? Thinking that I could add to the dialogue and raise the bar in the biblical community, not just the Israelite community. And this is what these idiots don't realize, is that my work raises the bar, not just in the Israelite community, but even in the biblical community. And so at this point, I'm defending the Bible, not just Israelites, but the Bible. The Bible is on attack. And that's why you guys don't see me making videos about Christian apologists such as Vocab Malone. That's why you guys don't see me making videos about other Israelites. The only time you've ever seen me do that is when my hand was forced. We all know what Zion Lexx does. He defends that Bible and anybody that comes for it. And the craziest thing about that, I always tell people, could you imagine, right? You see your brother getting beat up, and you go and you help him, and you jump in the fight and you start beating up the person that's whooping on him. And as you fighting this person, the same brother you trying to help is putting a knife in your back. That's how Israelites look when they attack me, to be very clear. Because I don't attack Israelites. With all of the differences that we have, I, for one, feel like most of those differences can be ironed out behind closed doors. I don't think we have to get messy on social media, do YouTube videos, none of that. And that's why you guys saw me last year turn down that debate, that dialogue with Captain Tazariak. Now, you don't gotta be the sharpest knife in the drawer to figure out that me and Captain Tazariak is an extreme mismatch, because he cannot hang with my level of scholarship. I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry. And so I decided last minute, even though initially I said yes, I decided last minute not to take that debate because to me it's hustling backwards. So here I am again, compelled in this moment to defend the Bible, not just the Israelite community, but the Bible. And the people who are attacking me are not just people who attack the Bible, but the very same people who say they come to uphold it. So the most interesting thing that you're going to see in the next couple of moments is that most of what I said about women in the Bible was said to raise the bar in understanding the role of women in the Bible. And so I wrote a book which is entitled Matriarchs of the Covenant. All right, that's Matriarchs of the Covenant. And in so doing, even though I am an author 5 times over, this book is my best seller, hands down, by both men and women, in the faith and out of the faith. Everybody loves it. And so the sister says in this video that she doesn't understand why anybody would make a comparison between women and God. All right, I'm going to play that part again, and then I'm going to add some commentary to those words. Here we go.
Your mother and your father, but the God that you know, that whose womb you came from, was what? A woman. Right. So let's be clear there.
I just think that it's interesting to say that the Black woman is God. I would like to know what the definition of God to them is. Is it someone who has control over any and can do, has all power, can be anywhere all at once, is in the past, present, future, all at the same time? Like, what is your definition of God?
So Zion says that we call God in Hebrew is Elohim. The term Elohim ends with what we call a masculine plural, but it begins with a feminine noun, Elo. So that means that the term Elohim, which we're calling God, is composed in biblical Hebrew of female first. Hold on, listen, watch this. Listen. You're talking to somebody with 27 years of teaching biblical Hebrew. So listen to this. I'm 41 years old. So listen. Call God in Hebrew is Elohim. The term Elohim ends with what we call a masculine plural, but it begins with a feminine noun, Elo. So that means that the term Elohim, which we're calling God, is composed in biblical Hebrew of female first. Hold on, listen, watch this.
And so you're seeing him right now, BK apology guy. You're seeing him feeling as if he has a gotcha moment, right? Because I correlated the term Elo on Elohim as a feminine noun. And he's like, hold on, as if there's more, as if this gets worse, as if what I'm saying is wrong. And there even exists a group of super brews that think that nobody knows Hebrew but them, that would also agree with him. And so the first thing that I want to say to this particular group, the Bodega guys, is what qualifies you to critique me? On the Hebrew language. Do you speak biblical Hebrew? Do you read biblical Hebrew? So what qualifies you to critique me on the Hebrew language when you know you don't read it? This is the arrogance that we have in the community. I can remember years ago, about 2011 to be exact, and I know this because of the Facebook memories. I'm arguing with a guy almost 3 hours straight on Facebook about the meaning of a particular Hebrew word. And we're arguing, and the word is so simple. The children in the Hebrew class can understand and break this down. So I'm baffled as to why such a basic word is so complex to understand, and why the person is making such a horrible argument. And I finally said, out of frustration, I took a screenshot from my Hebrew grammar book of the word in question, pulled out the word, showed the commentary under the word, explaining exactly what I'm explaining, and asked the brother, read that word for me real quick. And the brother said, I can't. I don't read Hebrew. You mean to tell me we've been arguing over 3 hours straight about a language you know fully damn well you don't read? And this is why people laugh at religious communities, especially those who hold up the Bible, because there tends to be a lot of poor scholarship, to be brutally honest. And what a lot of people don't realize is the people that you're trying to fight are the very same people that you should be trying to learn from. But don't worry, I got a full PowerPoint presentation defining my stance today to show and prove to you why you are absolutely wrong and why I'm absolutely right and why I am the authority on this and you are far from even conceivably be seen as an authority on this to even critique me. So let's play the live some more.
Listen. You're talking to somebody with 27 years of teaching biblical Hebrew. So listen to this. I'm 41 years old. So listen to this. The biblical word for God is Elohim. It ends with a masculine plural, but it begins with a feminine noun. Hello. So that means the very idea of God begins with a feminine concept, just like we know in reality. So Michael Heiser is an American biblical Old Testament scholar and Christian author.
Okay, guys, here's where things get interesting. So after he quotes me saying that the term Elohim is derived from a feminine singular noun Elo, which he obviously disagrees with because even though he doesn't read Hebrew, he's a Hebrew scholar. What's interesting is what he does next. He pulls out a quote from Dr. Michael Heiser. I mean, this guy really must be these people's master teacher. And that's why I chin-checked him with Vocab Malone the other day. And that's why apparently Vocab Malone was so upset. And to the extent that his response didn't even address my initial claims and critique. He just responded by playing a series of 5 or 6 old cut up videos from the same washed up group that nobody watches. And so while I'm going to play it and allow him to use Dr. Heiser to debunk my usage of the term Elohim and Elo as a feminine noun, listen to what they quote from Dr. Heiser, and then watch me go to work.
The very idea of God begins with a feminine concept, just like we know in reality. So, Michael Heiser is an American biblical Old Testament scholar and Christian author. His area of expertise is the nature of the spiritual realm in the Bible, namely Heiser alert, the divine counsel and hierarchy of the spiritual order. He received an MA in ancient history from the University of Pennsylvania and an MA and PhD in the Hebrew Bible and Semitic languages from the University of Wisconsin-Madison with a minor in classical studies. This is what he says about the term Elohim. Several different entities are referred to as Elohim in the Old Testament. Considering this already provides insight in how the term should be understood. The Hebrew text of the Old Testament refers to the following as Elohim: Yahweh, the God of Israel, over 1,000 times, the member of Yahweh's heavenly council, the gods of foreign nations, demons, spirits of the human dead, and angels. This already demonstrates that the word should not be identified with one particular set of attributes. Elohim is not a synonym for God. All beings called Elohim in the Hebrew Bible share a certain characteristic. They all inhabit the non-human realm.
Okay, so this comment is first for the people who know Hebrew, and second to everybody else. Anybody saying Elohim, we know don't read biblical Hebrew, right? Let me say that again. Anybody saying Elohim, we know don't read biblical Hebrew, right? You know, to people who don't know the language, you might not understand what I'm saying. But to everybody else who speaks the Hebrew language and can read the Hebrew language, you know that you hear somebody say, Bereshit bara Elohim. Elohim? What? So that was my first red flag that this guy probably don't know Hebrew. Elohim? Who's saying that? And so that's why initially, when they did this video, because guys, this video is over a year old. You can go to the channel, and here it is, me giving you some traffic that you desperately need. You can go to BK Apologist on YouTube, and you can see that this video was originally almost a full year ago. And that's why I didn't respond. Because just the opening commentary was just so silly and not worth dignifying it with a response. Because just in case these people don't know, I don't need your name in my YouTube heading title, nor your image in my thumbnail for people to watch my videos. In fact, most people gonna know you today because I'm making you famous right now. And even though you're about to get intellectually murdered, clearly you don't care, because this generation is so vainglorious, will do anything to be seen and heard, that they will even respond to those that they should be trying to learn from. But here we go.
One particular set of attributes. Elohim is not a synonym for God. All beings called Elohim in the Hebrew Bible share a certain characteristic. They all inhabit the non-human realm. By nature, Elohim are not part of the world of humankind, the world of ordinary embodiment. Elohim, as a term, indicates residence, not a set of attributes. It identifies the proper domain of the entity it describes. Yahweh, the lesser gods of his council, angels, demons, and the disembodied dead all inhabit the spiritual world. They may cross over into the human world, as the Bible informs us, and certain humans may be transported to the non-human realm, like the prophets, like Enoch, but the proper domains of each are two and separate, distinct places. So if we were to believe what Zion's saying, that, you know, Yahweh is the name of Elohim.
Wait a goddamn minute. Where in the video did I say that What argument are we talking about now? Oh, you mean you threw that in there? Because in the video that you played, I'm clearly talking about the term Elohim as it can be applied to women and showing that it's based on a feminine noun. But then you insert something that I didn't even mention, which makes the plot thicken, because now you're lying.
Yahweh, the lesser gods of his council, angels, demons, and the disembodied dead all inhabit the spiritual world. They may cross over into the human world, as the Bible informs us, and certain humans may be transported to the non-human realm, like the prophets, like Enoch, but the proper domains of each are two and separate, distinct places. So if we were to believe what Zion's saying, that, Yahweh is the name of Elohim.
Did he just say, if we were to believe what Zion is saying, that Yahweh is the name of Elohim? Bodega boys and girls, is this your king? Doesn't the Bible say Yahweh is his name? But hold on. We got receipts. And this is why, again, I didn't even dignify their silly video initially with a response, because I felt that I should allow one of the children in my Hebrew classes to respond, but out of respect for their parents who wouldn't want their children to enter that battlefield, I could not do so. But it clearly mentions in the Bible, no matter what version you're reading, that Yahweh is the name of the God of heaven and earth. So why would he say, if we are to believe what Zion is saying, that Yahweh is the name of Elohim? But let's have some fun. I actually had a powerful lecture to do early this afternoon. And so please excuse me for even having to address this level of scholarship. I apologize to those that follow me. I agree, this is not a good look. Okay, so we're going to read where it says, but Moses said to God, Exodus chapter 3, verse 11, who am I that I should go to Pharaoh and free the Israelites from Egypt? And God said, I will be with you. Or Be'ivrit in Hebrew, Ki eye imach. All right? For I will be with you. That shall be your sign that it was I who sent you. And when you have freed the people from Egypt, you shall worship God at this mountain. Moses said to God, when I come to the Israelites and say to them, the God of your fathers has sent me to you, and they ask me, what's his name? Or in Hebrew, Ma Shemo. You know, what is his name? Let me read that again, because apparently people are actually slow. Moses said to God, Elohim. Not Elohim, Elohim. When I come to the Israelites and say to them, the God, Elohim, of your forefathers has sent me to you, and they ask me, what's his name? what shall I say to them? I want everybody to notice that in the parentheses, you see the word God or gods, possessive, as in God's name, possessive, highlighted in the brackets or in parentheses. Why? Because when Moses was asking about the Creator's name, he was asking God, Elohim, what shall I say to them is your name. And for people out there in bodegas who really should be in my Hebrew and Torah classes, I want to say something to you. I'm about to disqualify everything you said in this entire video, but dealing in order. And so you quote Michael Heiser, I'm not sure if I should even say doctor at this point, that the term Elohim exclusively refers to entities, and more so to a place of residence. And it does not refer to an attribute or said attributes. But I'm talking to people who can read and have reading comprehension right now. And I say to you, don't we find early in the book of Genesis God's name, Yahweh, being spoken? Remember in the book of Genesis 5, right after the table of Adam's genealogy is listed, it says, and then men began to call on the name of Yahweh. So when Moses says, what's your name? I just want people to know it's not because nobody knew what God's name was at this time. You can go in the book of Genesis and see Abraham using it. You can go in the book of Genesis and see Jacob using God's name. You can find all throughout the book of Genesis the name Yahweh being used by the patriarchs, the matriarchs, and by God himself. So the question then is, what did Moses mean when he said, what is your name? What shall I say to them? He's talking about his attributes. Which one of your attributes are you revealing yourself through? Because as anybody with a baseline understanding of biblical Hebrew and its connection to the biblical Hebrew names of God, you know that every single name of the Creator in the Bible is correlated perfectly with one of his many attributes. So that the term Elohim denotes justice, jurisprudence, judgment, and law. And you're going to see that applied to humans later on who are in positions of authority, such as the book of Exodus chapter 21:6, where judges are called Elohim, even though you just quoted Michael Heiser saying nobody's called Elohim, but angels, lowercase gods, and some place name residents out there somewhere. But these are the people you guys are putting respect on, huh? Come out to Bodega and sign up for my Hebrew classes. I might give you a discount. So watch this. Verse 14, the Creator says, and let's read this Be'ivrit in Hebrew. Wayomer Elohim, hallelujah, hallelujah. Let me start with the sentence the right way. Hallelujah. Wayomer Elohim, El Moshe, Eye Asher Eye, Wayomer, Kol Tomar, Livnei, Yisrael Eye, Shelachni Elechem. And I certainly read biblical Hebrew. And in the video, you're actually going to hear him say, no, Zion Lexx really does read Hebrew. So why do you think you have the authority, as someone who clearly doesn't know Hebrew, to attempt to correct somebody who does know Hebrew. And this is why your YouTube channel fails. And this is why nobody really watches your content unless your grandmaster teacher, Vocab Malone, posts it on his page. Because you're severely understudied and should come out of the bodega, put down the pork, bacon, and cheese. And we know as a Christian, you eating pork, bacon, and cheese. To put it down and come inside a Hebrew Torah class. If you hate me so much, sign up for somebody's Hebrew Torah class. Just please don't sign up for Dr. Michael Heiser's, because the work that I'm going to give him in this video disqualifies him as even knowing Hebrew. Here we go. And God said to Moses, Eye Asher Eye. Thus shall you say to the Israelites, Eye Shelachani Elechem. I am has sent me to you. Verse 15. And God said further to Moses, thus shall you speak to the Israelites. Let's start, we actually do this Hebrew thing, so let's read this in Hebrew. All right? Vayomer od Elohim el Moshe kol tomar el bnei Yisrael Yehovah Elohei avotekum Elohei Avraham Elohei Yitzchak ve Elohei Yaakov shelachani elechem ze shemi leolam ve ze zikri ledor dor. And God said further to Moses, thus shall you say to the Israelites, Yahweh, the God of your fathers, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob has sent me to you. This shall be my name forever. And so, guys, this is why, as I clearly mentioned earlier, when they made this video over a year ago, or almost a year ago, I didn't even dignify it with a response, because any child in the Hebrew or Torah class could have responded to them if their parents would have allowed them to. Let's keep listening to this. I don't even know what to call it.
Each are two and separate, distinct places. So if we were to believe what Zion's saying, that Yahweh is the name of Elohim, then the angels are also Yahweh.
What? Did he just say, if we are to believe what Zion Lexx is saying, that Yahweh is the name of the Elohim, or Elohim, then that means angels are Yahweh. And I want everybody to listen to me very, very clearly when I say, this is why I don't respond to everybody. Israelites inbox me. Those that have my number, message me, text message me, at me on Instagram. Zion, you got to respond. This guy did a video. Zion, you got to respond. This person did a video. Zion, you got to... For what? Why should I go out of my way as a person who is well studied in this tradition to go and respond to just any and everybody that has a YouTube camera pointed at them with a microphone? Why? How, Sway? And so the mere fact that he would actually say publicly, the BK apology guy thingy, that for Zion Lexx to say that Yahweh is the name of Elohim, even though, guys, as I just clearly read, we're not talking about what Zion Lexx is saying. We're talking about what's inside of the Bible. Exodus chapter 3, verse 15. Where do y'all find these people at? And so not only am I right, but clearly the people who are curating the Bible, writing it, transmitting it, they're wrong too, right? Because they certainly wrote that Yahweh is God's name, as you can find all throughout the Bible, no matter what language you're reading it in. And then you make such a silly statement such as, well, then I guess angels are Yahweh too. You ever did something so stupid that your mother, your father, grandmother, or grandfather didn't even have the energy to whoop you upside your head real quick? They just look at you like you could hear it in your head, even though they're not saying it with your mouth. You stupid.
The disembodied spirits are also Yahweh. The divine counsel is also Yahweh. Oh, and they're both female and male, according to his definition of the word. So it's problematic. Elohim is not the name of Yahweh. It's a designation. It's residence.
Right.
To confuse things even more, guys, and I'm going to play that part again. To confuse things even more, now he says to say Elohim is the name of Yahweh is just incorrect. What? How stupid can a person be? You just said for Zion Lexx to say that Yahweh is the name of Elohim is problematic because that would mean angels are Yahweh, which is stupid because it's stupid. Now you say, because if he's saying that Elohim is the name of Yahweh, that's wrong. Were you smoking crack when you were making this video? You know, I'm on to something here. I think I know why you call yourself a bodega boy. And people who don't live in New York City might not know where I'm getting at, but people who live in New York City, you know where I'm getting at. Because in front of a lot of these bodegas throughout New York City, people selling a different brand of weed that will get you effed up in the head. It's called K2. So that's probably why you call yourself bodega boy, because with your understanding and your knowledge and your lack of any goddamn common sense, you gotta be smoking K2 in front of that goddamn bodega. I'm gonna play that again, because this is stupid. Like, this is actually stupid. But I'll play it again.
Places. So if we were to believe what Zion's saying, that Yahweh is the name of Elohim, then the angels are also Yahweh. The disembodied spirits are also Yahweh. The divine counsel is also Yahweh. Oh, and they're both female and male, according to his definition of the word. So it's problematic. Elohim is not the name of Yahweh. It's a
He said it's problematic. Elohim is not the name of Yahweh. Let me offer you something. Because either you retarded or you high on K2. So I'm gonna offer you something. I've been taking black seed oil for many, many years. True story. And I mean this sincerely. I've been taking black seed oil since about, 2001. Put on virtually every member of my family to this. I started taking it in the seed form. All right. Started taking it in the seed form initially, the actual seeds. All right, black seed. And then graduated to, right, the bottle, the liquid, black seed oil, cold pressed, right? I'm going to tell you right now, if in the space of 2 minutes, you can completely contradict yourself and make yourself look like a complete jackass, you probably need some black seed oil, and you should definitely put down the K2.
Forms us, and certain humans may be transported to the non-human realm, like the prophets, like Enoch, but the proper domains of each are two and separate, distinct places. So if we were to believe what Zion's saying, that Yahweh is the name of Elohim, then the angels are also Yahweh, the disembodied spirits are also Yahweh, the divine council is also Yahweh. Oh, and they're both female and male, according to his definition of the word. So it's problematic. Elohim is not the name of Yahweh. It's a designation.
Guys, on a more serious note, I'm playing this part again because this is clearly stupid at this point. Because he just contradicted himself. He said, Zion, if you say that Yahweh is the name of Elohim, that means that angels are Yahweh. Then he said, Zion, if you're saying that Elohim is the name of Yahweh, yeah, we're just gonna play the rest of the video.
It's residence, right? And even though Yahweh is an Elohim, no Elohim is like Yahweh. So, yeah, it's he's wrong. Basically, that's what I'm trying to say. Yeah, he's very wrong.
And there's a whole theology around that. You know what I'm saying? There's a book I've got by Michael Bird. I don't think I have it with me right now, but this book by Michael Bird where it talks about, it really revolves around the deity of Christ. And he goes into how there's a whole theology around, and I'm talking about, even before Christianity, this is just a part of, Judaic culture where they would categorize spiritual beings according to their attributes, what they're able to do, and so on and so forth. So, for example, there's no being but Yahweh that's like the giver of all life and responsible for all of creation. Whereas there might be another, maybe some sort of archangel, like one of them, I think it's called Metatron. Sounds like Megatron, but there's an angel referred to in some of the ancient Jewish texts called Metatron.
All right, so I'm going to play Adam Coleman again, repeating what he just said, but I'd be remiss to not add some commentary. So introducing Adam Coleman to the scene. And, I'm not a hater. I kind of like Adam Coleman as a scholar. I kind of like him, to be honest. I enjoyed watching him dialogue with Jabari, and I am not the kind of person who has to hate on somebody because they dissed me, called me out, critique me, or just flat out simple don't like me. I'm still going to speak my truth because it's part of being called a man. And so I kind of like Adam Coleman. I think that he's a pretty decent Christian apologist. And I enjoyed his interaction with Brother Jabari. But I gotta say, in case you guys didn't catch it, and I'm gonna play it again, notice that BK apology guy thingy, in the midst of putting down the K2, he said that the term Elohim, you know, to quote Dr. Michael Heiser, has nothing to do with any attributes. And then, guys, did you hear it? And don't worry, I'm gonna play it again, because Adam Coleman just came in and spoke about how you can actually look in a book and see how Elohim is played out as attributes. So BK apology guy thingy, if you actually put down the K2, you would have never even uploaded this video, because on top of the silly comments that you're making, your homeboy just cut you. That's like you playing for the same team. He stole the ball from you, slam dunked, and airball, because even he's gonna miss.
Judaic culture where they would categorize spiritual. Michael Bird.
That's what I'm trying to say. Yeah, he's very wrong.
And there's a whole theology around that. You know what I'm saying? There's a book I've got by Michael Bird. I don't think I have it with me right now, but this book by Michael Bird where it talks about, it really revolves around the deity of Christ. And he goes into how there's a whole theology around, and I'm talking about, you know, even before Christianity, you know, this is just a part of, you know, Judaic culture, where they would categorize spiritual beings according to their attributes, what they're able to do, and so on and so forth. So for example,
did he just say there's an entire book that characterizes spiritual beings based on their different what? Attributes? BK thingy guy apology. You just got cut by your own teammate. You pulled up a quote from Dr. Michael Heiser that said that the term Elohim has no attribute associated with and shouldn't be quantified within the realm of attributes. I'm paraphrasing. And then comes your guy. You know, usually, like when you're playing as a team, you hit tag, your guy comes in and he continues to go to work. In this respect, I gotta say that this was a good thing, because he did continue to go to work. He continued to give the silly commentary that you just gave, because he came in and cut you and said that the term Elohim does have attributes associated with it. He's even going to quote from a book that talks about all of the different attributes assigned to different types of entities. Y'all be playing for the wrong team, literally, and y'all be fighting the wrong people, literally. The people you are fighting, you really should be humble and learn from. And I'm speaking to everybody at this moment. A lot of people really out here fighting people they should be learning from.
For example, there's no being but Yahweh that's like the giver of all life and responsible for all of creation. Whereas there might be another, maybe some sort of archangel, like one of them, I think it's called Metatron. Sounds like Megatron, but there's an angel referred to in some of the ancient Jewish texts called Metatron, and he's supposed to be one of the more powerful ones. But you know, it's pretty clear that is not responsible for creation. So they had an idea of what these different Elohim were like, but just to use the term Elohim doesn't necessarily say something about Yahweh. You know, it's a designation that he's obviously a spiritual being, but to go further beyond that, I mean, you know, he's really just reaching there. Yeah.
See what I tell you, red fish, blue fish. So precipice says, I was like, okay, man. Well, I just proved my point. I just want y'all to know with that little clip.
But you see how problematic it is, because then he's saying that the prophet Samuel, when the witch of Endor rose him up, that means Samuel was basically gender fluid.
Guys, and I mean this in all manner of seriousness. Is it me, or am I the only one questioning at this point whether or not BK Apologist actually has a brain inside of his skull? No, I'm serious. I'd like to see you guys, say something in the chat room. Is it me, or do you also at this point question whether or not BK Apologist has a brain left in his skull due to the use of K2 in front of bodegas? Because now he says, then that would mean that, because Zion says that, Samuel was brought up, and that would mean that Samuel too is gender fluid. And this is why I tell you guys, I'm aware of everything that's out there, and I pick and choose very choice who I respond to and when I'll be responding. And I don't believe that just because somebody does a video that I should dignify it with a response. First and foremost, I don't do response videos to people who personally attack me. Because if you have a personal issue with me, I have a phone number and I also have an address. You could pull up with me in person or you could call me. My teacher used to say, pick a format. Either we're going to talk it out or we're going to work it out. But I'll let this play.
Because he's saying Elohim is both masculine and feminine, so then Samuel was both masculine and feminine.
Some transgenderism going on, bro.
So listen to this, guys. Because I said Elohim is a feminine noun, that would mean that the prophet Samuel being raised up by the witch of Endor would insinuate that he's a transgender. And let me just say this. For even the people that may not agree with me that the term Elohim is a feminine noun, and by the way, I haven't even showed my PowerPoint yet to show you why I say that. I'm going to show you that today on this live. Make sure you guys thumb up this video, share the live stream, and make sure you support the platform. You can donate at Cash App, $Zion Lexx, or at PayPal, ZionLexx@gmail.com. We will be back after a commercial break.
I wash my natural hair and my face with the same product because natural hair care is easy. Natural skin care is easy. Don't make it hard.
All right. So, obviously, I don't even need to comment on the last statement, right? So we'll just go ahead and play the rest of this. I don't even know what to call it.
Was basically gender fluid. Because he's saying Elohim is both masculine and feminine, so then Samuel was both masculine and feminine.
Some transgenderism going on, bro.
Say it. Yeah. So, but
it's interesting. Now that you mentioned, like, I mean, Jesus says, and I just can't remember it off the top of my head what passages, but he talks about how the angels are neither male nor female. You know what I'm saying? And so I just think that's interesting that you can be obviously a spiritual being and not be beholden to one gender or another. You know what I'm saying?
Right. So yeah, Michelle Turner, actually, yes, he would be better saying El Shaddai, because that is a feminine body part, right? It's the breast, right? So yeah, he should have went with that, absolutely, but he didn't. So
yeah, I think everybody heard and seen enough of that. I'm gonna go to the next video now because that video is done. Go to the next video that they played, and okay. LinkedIn. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna go to the next video, and yeah, finish responding to this guy. All right. All right, y'all. Here we go. Part 2. This is another video that Vocab uploaded as a response to me addressing him and Dr. Michael Heiser on topics and comments that have absolutely nothing to do with these series of videos that he's been uploading. But we know it's a coward's way out of detracting, right? Instead of dealing with the information, I'll present an entirely different argument that Zion Lexx didn't even make recently. I'll just go back in the past. It doesn't matter that Zion Lexx reached out, called me out and Dr. Heiser on something completely different. I'm just going to choose to just show something from the past because, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. All right, let's play.
A new land, can we convert? So in the word for God, in the Medu Neter, you have a seated deity with a beard. But the word for woman, the determinative for woman, looks exactly like it, minus the beard. So the concept that you learn is, from the Kemetic perspective, the closest idea to God was a woman giving birth. The closest idea to God was the creation of life, which we know man is a co-conspirator, or he's a partner, but we know the bottom line is coming through the womb of a woman.
Stop it here.
This is deep science.
Deep science. All right. So what does he say here? He says, so the ancient Medu Neter or hieroglyphics, they have what's called determinatives, which are language classifiers. It lets you know what is going on within the language. So in the word for God, in the Medu Neter, you have a seated deity with a beard, but the word for woman, the determinative of a woman, looks exactly like it, minus the beard. So the concept that you learn is from the Kemetic perspective. The closest to a god was a woman giving birth. Well, let's look at those determinatives.
All right. I'm glad that he has the determinatives out. And I do also want you guys to look. Thank you. Because I didn't have a book in front of me to show people when I was sitting down with Polite. So thank you. You guys can see the determinative for God, and you can see the determinative for women, minus the beard, they look identical. And that is because in Kemetic mythology, the closest idea to God is a woman. And people who read Medu Neter understand this very perfectly. In fact, people who read Medu Neter and practice the Kemetic tradition, they say the exact same thing. So I'm not saying anything that's wrong.
Right? So we have God, right? You see the guy with the beard. and you see the woman, but then you see woman giving birth. Not exactly like the other God determinative. I'm just saying, it's I mean, yeah, it's seated, but it's not. I mean, you could tell it's a difference.
I mean, the baby coming out of the bottom.
You guys can see a trend, right? Like, we're all intelligent enough to see a trend and a pattern. And at this point, we should all know the definition of a straw man argument, right? A straw man argument is to rearrange intricate parts of someone's argument to best frame it in a way that you'd like to debunk it, or you completely ignore what a person has said and just insert or interpolate your own position and then act as if you've responded to what they actually said. Because I said clearly in the video, I'll even rewind it so you can hear, that the determinative for woman and the determinative for God in the Medu Neter are nearly exactly the same. Notice I did not say the determinative for a woman giving birth is the same as the determinative for God. So he clearly misrepresents my stance. Even though you're going to hear him say, Zion is kind of right. I mean, when you look at the woman determinative, it does look like God, so he's kind of right on that. You big-ass dummy. That's exactly what I said. I said the determinative for woman and the determinative for God, minus the beard, are identical and virtually the same. I did not mention the determinative for woman giving birth, which is something completely altogether different. But we know what this is. It's called a straw man argument. And a straw man argument is only needed when you can't deal with the details scholastically of somebody's argument. Because as we're going to see in a couple of moments, not only could you not pronounce Hebrew words, but you also don't pronounce Medu Neter words. And when the ladies on the panel asked you guys to define what Medu Neter means, none of you knew exactly what the word Medu Neter even means. So how are you qualified, once again, to even critique me on what I'm saying about the Medu Neter? You also don't read that. But let's play it back so you can hear me say that the determinative for God and the determinative for woman are virtually the same. Notice I do not mention the determinative for giving birth, which I know is completely different. And then notice how he inserts that into the argument and attacks that. That is a classical representation of what's called a straw man argument, when you insert a position or an idea that the claimant has not made.
In the Medu Neter, you have a seated deity with a beard. But the word for woman, the determinative for woman, looks exactly like it, minus the beard. So the concept that you learn is from the...
I'm going to say that again. I said the determinative for woman looks exactly like it, minus the beard. Notice I did not say the determinative for a woman giving birth. So then why does he insert that? Except to clearly misrepresent the tenets of my argument, to build a straw man argument and attack something that I never even said, and use that to make me look in some way faulty. Well, I gotta tell you, the people who watch my videos, they don't stand in front of bodegas using K2. So they know what you're doing. You are lying.
New land, can we convert? So in the word for God, in the Medu Neter, you have a seated deity with a beard. But the word for woman, the determinative for woman, looks exactly like it, minus the beard. So the concept that you learn is, from the Kemetic perspective, the closest idea to God was a woman giving birth. The closest idea to God was the creation of life, which we know man is a a co-conspirator or he's a partner, but we know the bottom line is it's coming through the womb of a woman.
Stop it here.
This is deep science.
Deep science. All right. So what does he say here? He says, so the ancient Medu Neter or hieroglyphics, they have what's called determinatives, which are language classifiers. It lets you know what is going on within the language. So in the word for God, in the Medu Neter, you have a seated deity with a beard, but the word for woman, the determinative of a woman, looks exactly like it, minus the beard. So the concept that you learn is from the Kemetic perspective. The closest to a god was a woman giving birth. Well, let's look at those determinatives, right? So we have God, right? You see the guy with the beard, and you see the woman.
So he asserts his position because I said the closest idea to a god is a woman giving birth. And so he shows that. But he doesn't also preclude my original statement, which is the determinative of a woman and the determinative of God are identical. That's the greater part of the points that I'm making. So once again, he is clearly misrepresenting my words.
Woman, but then you see woman giving birth. Not exactly like the other God determinative. I'm just saying, it's I mean, yeah, it's seated, but it's not. I mean, you could tell it's a difference.
I mean, the baby coming out of the bottom might be a dead giveaway. That might be.
Yeah, and just so you know that I'm not just making this up, here's an actual picture of it on the walls in Kemet. So yeah, it's kind of the same because they're both, you know, kneeling in some kind of position, but it's not exactly the same. So I'm splitting hairs, but I'm
okay. I'd be remiss not to mention this. These people who make videos against me, each and every single one of them I have called out for a one-on-one debate. Going back now to the subject with Vocab Malone, I called him out for a debate. What was his response? To play videos of his flunkies, and that's how I'll have to address them now, based on the level of scholarship, and have them respond to me, even though the response is a year old. And not only, once again, do you find them misrepresenting my argument, but they haven't demonstrated that they speak any of the languages that they're critiquing me on. They don't read Hebrew, they don't read Medu Neter, but have the nerve and the gall to stand here and critique me. And let's be clear, it's not that I can't be critiqued because no man is above reproach or criticism. What I'm really saying is, you can't critique me. I feel like physically, there are a lot of people in the world I could beat up. But as a human being, I know I can't beat everybody up. But we all know that with some people, we can look at them and say, well, I can't beat the world. You can't beat me up. I can beat you. So I say to these guys, it's not that I'm above reproach or criticism. Please don't take my statement and misconstrue what I'm generally and specifically stating. What I'm saying is, you don't have or possess the criterias to critique me when you know you don't read Hebrew or Medu Neter. Bring Dr. Michael Heiser to deal with me in Hebrew so I can chin check him live. And go out there and find a white Egyptologist, because we know the scholarship that you guys really weight is from white folks, right? And bring them to critique me in the Medu Neter. Then it'll be an even playing field. But until then, consider this response my last response. Because the reality is, I'm giving you more views than you'll ever get by talking about you, which really doesn't work for me, right? To help raise up somebody who's trying to bring me down, that doesn't work for me, right? If you wanted me to make you famous and you're really a fan, then we could have a dialogue. but there's got to be a better way of getting somebody's attention. And social media, unfortunately, has taught us that if we can't get someone's attention that we truly admire and love, then we're going to go out our way to get their attention negatively. Because what I'm really saying is, guys, I promise you that most of these people are just fans. And you pay them no attention. And they look at how people see you. And they look at how nobody notices them. And then they begin to hate you.
I'm just saying it's not, and I'm not I can't read the Medu Neter. I'm just looking at the pictures, and it's like it's just not the same. So that's it. That's all I wanted to share about that. It's just not. So I don't know if you guys want to talk about that. It's real simple. It's just you look at the characters. It's like, yeah, it's not that similar, guys. I mean, it's just not. Yeah.
Right. No, I'm good, man.
Michelle's like, that looks like a murder scene, not a birthday. Oh man.
I was going to say I have nothing to say about that third picture.
Yeah, but again,
Well, actually, BK, can I ask a question?
Sure.
Because I'm not like an expert on none of this Kemetic stuff. So can you explain to me exactly what the Medu Neter is? Am I saying that right? Medu Neter?
Yeah, it's
Did everybody just see that one of their fellow panelists, right, a Christian apologist, says she admits, and I give her respect for this, right? She so far she gets more respect for me than them. She admits that she doesn't know it, but to the extent that, listen to how she even frames it. She says, I gotta admit, I'm no expert. I don't know what the Medu Neter is, what the Medu Neter and the Medu, what? The who? You're critiquing something that you literally can't even pronounce. BK Apologist earlier says Elohim. You're critiquing something you can't even pronounce.
So I don't know if you guys want to talk about that. It's real simple. It's just you look at the characters. It's like, yeah, it's not that similar, guys. I mean, it's just not. Yeah.
Right. No, I'm good, man.
Michelle's like, that looks like a murder scene, not a birthday. Oh man.
I was going to say I have nothing to say about that third picture.
Yeah, but again,
Well, actually, BK, can I ask a question?
Sure.
Because I'm not like an expert on none of this Kemetic stuff. So can you explain to me exactly what the Medu Neter is? Am I saying that right? Medu Neter?
Yeah, it's is it the sacred language or God's language?
Okay. I just about had enough of even responding because this is actually really sad. But did he just pull out the Medu Neter and attempt to read the determinatives, right? And give commentary on it. But then when the sister who's on his panel asked, what is the Medu Neter, whatever that means, and he begins to give a response which precludes that, first and foremost, he's not even sure of what the name of the language means himself. So the question is, once again, how are you critiquing someone on a language you can't even pronounce the name of, nor do you know the definition in the name? Medu Neter. This is actually pathetic. And this is why you guys don't see me responding to everybody's video. So please, guys, and I'm speaking to everyone out there, use this video as an example as to why you shouldn't be asking me to respond to everybody's video. Because clearly we can all see why I shouldn't even feel compelled to respond to everybody's video.
Michelle's like, that looks like a murder scene, not a birthday. Oh, man.
I was going to say I have nothing to say about that third picture.
Yeah, but again, you know.
Well, actually, BK, can I ask a question?
Sure.
Because I'm not like an expert on none of this Kemetic stuff. So can you explain to me exactly what the Medu Neter is? Am I saying that right? Medu Neter?
Yeah, it's is it the sacred language or God's language, Adam? Right? Is it sacred language it means? Medu Neter?
Yeah, it's a language. Yeah, like a language
Like
of the
sacred language.
Yeah, the idea is that the language itself is some way infused, with the power of the deities.
Right. It's the script that the priesthood would use.
All right, so let me do this really quick. Let me do what I do. Let me teach. I'm gonna pull up the word Medu Neter in the Medu Neter, and then I'm gonna read it, interpret it live for everybody. We'll be back in a commercial break with that. Thumb up the video, guys, share the live, and don't forget to support the platform. We do this.
Still haven't tried the Locklicious all-natural hair care product line? Well, let's hear what the Lock community has to say about it.
I love how it sprays and how it fills, you guys. Like, it feels so good. And it smells amazing, you guys.
The Lock and Twist moisturizer was really good for me. The hydration mist was phenomenal.
This is bomb, baby. I was really impressed, kind of blown away. And I think that if you're struggling, definitely go check them out.
And check out the 5-star reviews on our website. So, what are you waiting for? Go to locklicious.com to start treating your crown like royalty.
All right. So I have the word Medu Neter pulled up in the Medu Neter, and let's see what it means. All right, let's do what these charlatans could not do. Let's do what these charlatans could not do. All right. Hopefully that screen should be nice and big. I blew it up some more. So hopefully that should be big enough for everybody to see. If you can see my arrow, then I can go to work. If you guys could see my arrow on the screen moving, I need you guys to type a 1 because I'm going to teach and I want to make sure that you guys can see me go to work. So if you can see my arrow, please type a 1 on the screen. That way I know that you know what I'm about to be pointing to. You can see me pointing to it because you can see my arrow moving. Okay. So here is the word Medu Neter. In the word, you have a flag. The flag itself is a determinative for Neter. And Neter defines or is described and defined as God. Of course, if you're in the Kemetic tradition, you're going to say deity, you're going to say divine. But most Medu Neter scholars, most scholars of Egyptian hieroglyphs, they tell you that Neter means God. All right, so that's the first one. Then we have the staff. The staff is a bilateral glyph. It stands for the consonants M and D. M and D. So the sound it makes is med. Med. Med is the Egyptian word for word. If you want to say word in the hieroglyphs, you say med. Okay? Then you have a hand, which is the consonant D. So together you have med. Med. Then you have the quail chick, right? Which is plurality. It gives you the sound oo, but it denotes that which is plural. So the staff is med, the hand is D, the quail chick is oo. Together, this is medu, which is how you say words in the plural in the Egyptian language. Then you have a determinative, right, which is a language classifier. If I write 3.27 on the screen, you don't know definitively what I just wrote. You might say I wrote the time, it's 3:27. You might say I'm giving coordinates. You might say it's anything but what I mean it to be. Because in this respect, 3.27, I'm talking about money. But you would only know that it was money if I put a dollar sign in front of that 3. So the dollar sign in English is also a language classifier, or what's called a determinative. And so the kneeling man determinative, with his hand pointing towards his mouth, describes a number of actions. It can describe speech, because he's pointing to his lips. It can describe eating, which you use your mouth to do. It can describe drinking, which you use your mouth to do. It can also describe thinking. So this seated or kneeling man, with his hand pointed towards his mouth, in this respect denotes speech. So medu, words. And then you have the flag, which is neter. Now you would expect that the flag should be written last, being that the pronunciation of the word is Medu Neter or Medu Neter, so the flag should have been last, right? But the flag is placed first due to a rule in Egyptian hieroglyphs known as honorific transposition, where in order to show honor to the deity, the position of the deity in the name is transposed or switched in order to honor it. So even though when you say Medu Neter, the Neter or Neter part is said last, when you go to write it, you write it first, and that rule is known in Egyptology as honorific transposition. And so Medu means words, and Neter means God. So watch how beautiful this gets. Medu Neter literally translates in the hieroglyphs as words of God. And so, as you heard me say earlier, the very same people that I've been showing this afternoon who are fighting me, they should be learning from me. Because what else do we learn about the term Medu Neter or Medu Neter? The Neter is in the singular. If you want to say gods in the plural in the Medu Neter, you say either Neteru or you can say Necheru. A masculine deity or god is a Neter. A female deity or goddess is a Netchert. And the plural form of god or gods is Neteru or Necheru. And so I want you to notice that the ancient Egyptians did not call their language Medu Necheru or Medu Neteru, which is plural, because originally Egyptians saw the divine not as a plurality, but as one. But you people out there are so vainglorious that rather than learn from people who uphold and defend the Bible, you attack them. Y'all fighting the very people you should be learning from. And so, since none of them could tell you what Medu Neter actually means, me as a person who reads and teaches it, Medu Neter or Neter means words of God. Words of God. Now let's get back to this video. Guys, if I should never even feel compelled to even respond or call their name after today, put a fire emoji, a bomb emoji in the room right now. If I am barely even using my own information to debunk them, because if you're really listening, I'm just playing what they're saying so far to show how they're contradicting themselves and one another and how silly they look and how one even looks like he's high on K2 in front of the bodega. If I'm speaking nothing but the facts, put some fire emojis in the room. Here we go.
You utilize.
Fine, right there.
Very extensive, very complicated, script. So
I think the vowels are inserted. I think it's actually MDU-NTR. I think
right.
The vowels are inserted, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Patty says, but the way he's presented, as if the woman spontaneously gives birth to a child.
Right.
Like, just walking down the street, bam,
boom.
That's crazy. Yeah, yes. Let's get to the next slide. I mean, next clip.
All right.
That's a strong and wrong position. I just want to say that.
Was that?
I said that's a very strong and wrong presupposition that a baby's going to come out just like that. That didn't happen.
Well, I'm on number 4, so I can attest to that. You know what I'm saying? I would not want to do a childbirth for the world. I give props to my wife on that one. I can't.
For the very first woman in the Bible, her name is Eve, right?
Yes.
In English. But remember, the biblical canon is a Hebrew text. So that means her name is Hawa. Her name means to speak things into existence. By the way, her name is reminiscent throughout several parts of West Africa. Some of the women that I've dated in the past, I've dated more than 3 women with the name Hawa, which is used in Ghana and Nigeria, and it has the same exact meaning in Hebrew, to speak into existence. But that's not what I want to touch on. As she's being introduced into the narrative of the Bible, she's said to be called an Ezer Kenegdo. And by the term Ezer, we're talking about a deliverer or a savior. Now watch this. The Bible says only God is a savior. Yet when the first woman is introduced, the Torah says that she shall be man's Ezer. She shall be his deliverer. She shall be his savior. The Torah only affords that a title to God. So that means the Bible is quite literally telling you that woman is divine in her attributes.
Let's stop it right there.
Please speak to that.
Please speak to that.
Yeah.
Okay, so before they embarrass themselves some more with more horrible commentary, let me just say this. I find often in the Israelite community, and even among people that read the Bible in general, that people are so vainglorious and full of ego that rather than humbly admit that they don't know enough to critique others or to teach certain things, they rather attack people on the basis of their own ignorance and what they don't understand. And so I feel compelled to say this. Because you don't understand something does not mean it's wrong. And because you can't qualify something as true does not mean it is not true. Because now I'm about to share my PowerPoint. And the first thing I'm going to talk about is the term Elohim. I'm going to show you why I said it's a feminine noun And then I'm going to demonstrate to you why I describe women's attributes as being divine. But listening is an operative word here, because I'm not sure if when they initially decided that they would critique me, if they really listened. Because in that dialogue with Polite, I went on to say that I am not here simply to say that women has divine qualities and attributes. I'm only offering this as response to you, Polite, who are acting as if women are only conceived as having divine attributes in Kemet. I said I can open the Bible and I can find divine attributes right in women. But I said that's not to concede that man is also not of the divine with his own divine qualities as well. So I'm not here saying the black woman is God. You big dummies. And so this is why it's important to listen to people before you react. It's only a child that can't sit still. They just gotta react. If you listen to what I said entirely, you should have known that there was no response necessary except to say, thank you, Zion Lexx, for raising the bar of scholarship in the community. Whereas so many thousands and millions of people who read the Bible marginalize women to being cooks in the kitchen, walking barefoot and being pregnant, and that's the greatest a woman can be. A lot of people who are into the Bible actually teach that. Instead of saying, Zion, thank you for showing and proving that that's not the truth, that women, in fact, possess powerful attributes like men, which are divine like men, you rather attack me on the basis of your own ignorance. The very people you're attacking, you really should be trying to learn from.
Yeah, so ladies, what's your take on that?
I like how he was name dropping that he dated several Eves, several female guys. I just want to put that out there. That's what he was saying.
Yeah, he's giving us the resume. He's giving us the resume.
Yeah, I'm just saying. He was like, y'all can believe what I'm saying because I done dated several guys, several Eves.
So he says,
has to notice that they're not debunking what I'm saying. Everything I said is absolutely true. In the book of Samuel, 1 Samuel chapter 7, verse 12, God tells Samuel, erect a stone pillar and set it up. This is right after God destroyed the Philistines for the children of Israel. God tells the prophet Samuel, erect a stone pillar, and that stone pillar shall serve as a sign that it was here that I, the Lord, delivered the children of Israel from the hand of the Philistines. And so we already know that in biblical vernacular, when God delivers us, we're talking about the salvation of God. And the Bible uses this term to describe how God delivered us from the Philistines. Hence, that stone memorial is called Even Ezer. Even, the Hebrew word for stone, and Ezer, deliverance, to mark and memorialize that God delivered and saved us from the Philistines. And notice that when God presented Eve or Hawa to Adam, he said, you shall be his Ezer, which we know in the Bible denotes deliverance and salvation. But you guys are so misogynistic that you don't like me doing that. You really want to see a woman as just the help. You really want to see her barefoot and naked in the kitchen. You don't want the connotation that the Bible offers, that the term Ezer denotes delivering and saving. You don't want that for women. You want her barefoot and naked in the kitchen. And that's really why you critiqued what I said, because you have a piss poor understanding of how the Bible views women. But here we go.
Here, the very first woman in the Bible, her name, wait, let me get in here. All right. Her name is Eve, right? In English, but remember.
All right, guys, I'm going to pause this part and come back to it just so I could present to you my PowerPoint presentation and show for you guys live for the first time with full detail why it is that I say that the word Elohim is a feminine noun based on a feminine singular noun. All right? So make sure you guys get your pen and your pads out because now is where I go to work. And when you guys can see the screen, put some ones in the chat room. That way I know you guys can see the full screen. Type of one in the chat room. Don't forget, family, thumb up the video and share the live. Support the platform. All right. So, being that they call themselves the Bodega Boys, I decided that not only would I take some clips of videos that they did about me, right? Zion Lexx misuse of the word Elohim. And this video, Hebrew mistakes, Vocab hasn't published it yet. But I put that up there just to show you that even though it's a future video that he's going to air, that just by watching this video, that video is automatically unqualified and disqualified because every single video you posted in response to me is horrible. You posted a guy that sounds like he is abusing drugs in front of the bodega. You posted his teammate who, instead of taking the rock and scoring, stole the rock from him and slam dunked an air ball. And so I'm not the average type of person, right? So when I pull up on the bodega, we got to rename the bodega, baby, because I'm from Brooklyn. And we don't sell K2 in front of my bodega. We got books. So welcome to the Brooklyn Book Bodega. And watch me go to work. We're looking at the term Elohim right now, which I'm going to tell you that most people who read Hebrew tell you that this is a masculine noun. Most Bible dictionaries tell you that this is a masculine noun. But I don't have to agree with what most people say because I do my own due diligence. I don't have to accept what most people teach because I do my own research and studies. And if you can study and show your thoughts and ideas to be approved, then you don't have to follow the majority in their ignorance in relaying that which is true, that they have ignorance in and or of. And watch this, guys. Here we go. I'm holding up here the etymological dictionary of biblical Hebrew, right? People who actually read the language, like, you know, we got dictionaries galore. Let me see if I have it handy. Here it is. Here is the etymological dictionary of biblical Hebrew, right? Looks all beat up, my copy, right? I had it for many, many years. Got tape on the edges. You can hear that. Got tape on the edges. It's all beat up, right? Turn to his pages, it's all marked up, highlighting everywhere, right? If you look at the etymological dictionary of biblical Hebrew, you can learn more than the average. A lot of people who challenge me on biblical Hebrew, this is what they're reading, and this is what they're reading alone. Now, when I show my books, people say that I'm showboating. But I have shown my books several times on my live streams. You guys know I own well over a dozen biblical Hebrew grammar books. Parsing guides. You know that I've been studying Hebrew longer than a lot of people have life. Literally 2 years short of being 30 years in this way of life. And yes, I said on video that I've been teaching it for 27 years. Because my first year coming into this understanding, I learned Hebrew. And I began to teach it to as many people around me as I could. In my older brother's voice, as you should. But I didn't stop teaching it to people who are really, really immersed in the truth until about maybe the early 2000s, 2001. No, actually 2000, yeah, 2000. That's when I really started teaching it to people who were really immersed in the tradition. But I've been teaching it clearly for a very, very long time. And so one thing about me that people should definitely know, you can challenge me on a lot of things. But when you attempt to challenge me on Hebrew, listen, any other subject, depending on your level of scholarship, it might be an uphill battle. But when you come to challenge me on Hebrew, you had better know your shit. Because I'm telling you, I will wipe the floor with you if you don't know this. And here we go. We're in the Etymological Dictionary of Biblical Hebrew. And for those of you who have it, most of the people who have it are in my Biblical Hebrew class. What page should we be opening up to? You should be on page 10, third entry in, Aleph Lamed Hey. Page 10, third entry in, Aleph Lamed Hey. In the Etymological Dictionary of Biblical Hebrew, which, by the way, shows you far more than Strong's Concordance. Y'all really think y'all could debate me by holding up Strong's Concordance? Really? You're going to debate me using Strong's Concordance? Well, let's see how well that works for you. In the Etymological Dictionary of Biblical Hebrew, we know that most Hebrew roots are triconsonantal, right? Consisting of 3 root letters. We have some Hebrew words that are binary roots. They have 2 letters. We know that even more rare, such as the word Lila, the Hebrew word for night. We even have some Hebrew words that have 4 consonantal letters. And so watch this. The root of Elohim is Aleph Lamed Hey. Most people are going to tell you that the Hebrew word Elohim is related to the Hebrew word El or El. And I'm going to tell you, no, it's not. And I'm going to show you literally how you can open up the Tanakh and see that that's not true. So if you look at the third entry, the one I have highlighted, it says that the word Aleph Lamed He represents God who combines all natural force. And they even give you a citation in the Bible, and look at what it is. Genesis chapter 1, verse 1. Bereshit bara Elohim. And so the etymological dictionary tells us that the root of Elohim is Aleph, Lamed, Hey. And because most people don't read biblical Hebrew, allow me to tell you that Aleph, Lamed, Hey, that's a feminine Hebrew noun, not masculine. And so, rightfully so, it should be qualified as the root of Elohim. And going back to the idea that the term Elohim certainly denotes one of the many attributes of the Creator, the fourth entry uses the term Elohim to describe a judge or lawgiver. And that's in Exodus 21:6, right? Which opens up saying in the first verse of Exodus chapter 21, verse 1, if you buy a Hebrew servant, 6 years shall he work for you, in the 7th year he shall go free. If he came in by himself, he shall go out by himself. If he came in with a wife, she shall go out with him. If his master provided a wife for him, he got to go out alone. But if he declares, I love my wife and my children, he shall go to the judges who shall what? Be there in those days, and they shall bore a hole through his ear, symbolic of this covenant. Now, I can do an entire 2-hour lecture on how deep that gets, but let's keep it simple. When the Bible says that he shall go to the judges, the Hebrew word used is Elohim. But you don't have to believe me. I'm going to show and prove. We're going to go to Exodus chapter 21, verse 6 really quick. The very people y'all fighting, you really should be trying to learn from. Because it says it right in Exodus chapter 21, verse 6. I want everybody to look, use your eyes, and see for yourself. Watch this. These are the judgments which shall place before them. If you buy a Hebrew servant, 6 years he shall serve you, in the 7th year he shall go free. If he came in by himself, he shall go out by himself. If he came in with a wife, his wife shall leave with him. If his master has given him a wife and she has borne him children, then the wife and the children shall stay, and he shall go out by himself. But if he says clearly that I love my wife and my children, and he does not want to go out for free, then shall they bring him, then shall his master bring him, right? Then shall his master bring him to the judges. But I want everybody to look at what the Hebrew word used here is. Strong's Concordance 430, since you like Strong's Concordance. The English says he shall be brought to the judges, but the Hebrew word used is ha Elohim. The English word certainly says the judges, but the Hebrew word says ha Elohim. But y'all just quoted in your other video Dr. Michael Heiser saying that the term Elohim only applies to spiritual entities and to a place. This is why you guys shouldn't turn on and watch just anything you see on TV and YouTube, because there really are some people in the world that there's just no nice way to say certain things about them. You just gotta call a spade, because some of y'all are stupid. And you think quoting someone with a PhD who's white, look at Stockholm Syndrome in full effect. that in somehow, some way is going to invalidate what I can show and prove. Even though you have been failing since the beginning of this live till now, and I am embarrassing you, not with any personal attacks, but with the truth. All right, let me go back to my PowerPoint and watch this again. All right, so you see that in the etymological dictionary of biblical Hebrew, the word Elohim is rooted in Aleph Lamed He, right? Aleph Lamed He. And watch this. Using what they use, the Bodega guys, the Strong's Concordance, you see that it says Elohim is the plural form of the Hebrew word Elo, a feminine noun. And how do we know it's a feminine noun? Because nowhere in the Hebrew Bible can you use the masculine singular noun El to denote a female deity or what's known as a goddess. There are female goddesses mentioned in the Bible, such as Ashtoreth. And you never see the masculine singular form El used to describe her, ever. And if you look below, it says the word Elohim, strong number 430, right? It says that the word origin, or the origin of that word, is Elo. And I'll show you that spelling in a couple of moments. And when you look down, it clearly says one of the definitions of Elo is goddess. Can't use the masculine singular verb or word El, can't use the masculine singular noun El to describe a goddess. The reason why the term Elohim and Elo can describe a goddess is because it is a feminine noun in biblical Hebrew. But I got more for you. We're just heating up. I'm about to be in rare form in a couple of seconds. In the book of Daniel, we're going to see both the terms El and its plural. Most people that read Hebrew will tell you that the Hebrew word Elohim, its singular form is El. And guess what I'm going to tell you? You as wrong as putting two left shoes on your right foot. Because when you go to Daniel 11:36, the plural form of El is there. In Hebrew, the way to say God in the singular is El, with a zere under the aleph, El. And the plural form of that is Elohim, not Elohim. Right in the book of Daniel 11:36, where God is called the El Elim, the God of gods. I also have that highlighted here in English. The word used in Hebrew is El and Elim. See, when you actually know the language, you don't need Strong's Concordance. And you don't have to share snippets from Dr. Michael Heiser. I teach biblical Hebrew. The hell I need him for? And y'all using him against me is at most laughable. Clearly, the plural of El is Elim, not Elohim. Right in the book of Daniel 11:36, the two are used side by side, the singular form and the plural form. So if Elohim is not the plural form of the masculine singular El, then what is it the plural form of? It's the plural form of the singular feminine noun Elo. Watch. In the Samaritan Torah, which none of these bums have, in the Samaritan Torah, which none of these bums have, you can see that through what's called comparative textual analysis, that the Masoretic Hebrew noun Elo, which is feminine, is certainly solidified in the Samaritan text, which also renders it in the feminine. But don't believe me, I'm going to show you. And I got to say this again because at this point it's necessary. The people y'all fighting against in your ego and in your vain, glorious nature, you really should be trying to learn from. Here we go. I have Deuteronomy 32, verse 16, pulled up in the Samaritan text and in the Masoretic text. This Samaritan text that I have, it uses the square script and not the Paleo-Hebrew. Because the original Samaritan text uses the Paleo-Hebrew script. But you can tell which one is which because the Samaritan text on the left has no nekudot, no vowels, just like the Paleo-Hebrew has no vowels. And there are two words highlighted on verse 16 of Deuteronomy 32. Deuteronomy 32 uses the Hebrew noun Eloha, Eloha, which is a feminine noun. And in Deuteronomy 32:16, the Samaritan Torah renders it also in the feminine noun, spelling it Aleph, Lamed, and Hey. And look, this is an up close on the Masoretic text with vowel points of Deuteronomy 32 and 16, showing you the Hebrew word Eloha, which is a feminine noun. And when I pull it up in the Samaritan text, they also show you that it's a feminine noun. They don't even use matres lectiones, the indication of it, the letter Wav. They simply spell it in a feminine form, Aleph, Lamed, Hey, which is a clear tradition that the word Eloha is a feminine noun. You can even see it in the Masoretic text. And I'm still not even done. And so, again, you can see that the very term Elo or Eloha can denote goddess. Why? Because it's a feminine noun. Yes, most of the dictionary and grammar books render it as masculine. But what you guys need to know is any book, be it a dictionary or research in nature, the author's opinions always makes its way into the pages of that book. But you're going to get this word today because I'm showing and proving that the word El, its plural form is Elohim, not Elohim. And you can see that right in Daniel 11:36. And I'm showing that the singular form of the Hebrew word Elohim is the feminine noun Eloha, which can be rendered, as you see here, goddess. And so you might ask, Zion Lexx, if Elohim is truly coming from a singular noun that's feminine, then why is it given the masculine noun plural ending im? And if you ask that question, that was the smartest question to ask. So allow me to show you. You're right. At this point, it is embarrassing. It's embarrassing how much they don't know the language and would look to try to critique me, a person they should be trying to learn from. Here we go. And so everybody can see my screen. The word father in Hebrew is Av, right? On the screen, you see Abba, which is Aramaic, Abba, right? But the Hebrew word for father is Av. The plural form of Av is Avot. Usually I give this as a lesson in my Hebrew class, but I guess this is a free Hebrew lesson. Avot in Hebrew is the plural way of saying fathers in Hebrew, stemming from the word Av, the Hebrew word for father. When you pluralize it in Hebrew, it's Avot. Ot in Hebrew, or Cholam Tav, is the feminine plural ending. So what are we talking about? Irregular Hebrew nouns. Which are Hebrew nouns, which are either masculine and have feminine plurals, or feminine with masculine plurals. Further proof of that is in the next word. But again, keep in mind, the word for father in Hebrew is Av, and the plural form is Avot, which is a feminine plural. So just because a word ends in either a masculine or feminine plural does not mean that that word is a masculine or feminine word. And let me give you one more proof. I'm going to show you the Hebrew word for woman and women. And look. Now we're looking at a word that's clearly feminine, right? The word for woman. And notice, the Hebrew word for woman is Isha, but its plural form is Nashim, a masculine plural. And what are we talking about? irregular Hebrew nouns, which are Hebrew nouns which are either masculine or feminine in origin, which have either a feminine or masculine plural. So just because the Hebrew word Elohim ends with a masculine noun does not in and of itself mean that it's a masculine noun. Because we have examples of Hebrew words which are masculine in the singular and feminine in the plural, such as the Hebrew word father, and its plural form is feminine, avot. Such as the Hebrew word for woman, isha, clearly a feminine word, even ends in the feminine singular, the patak, hey, ah, which feminizes Hebrew nouns. But its plural form is masculine, you big ass dummies. And so, once again, just because you can see that the Hebrew word Elohim has a masculine plural form does not in and of itself qualify the word as a masculine noun, because you can see that the singular form of Elohim is not El. El has its own plural form. And as I showed you, that's in the book of Daniel 11:36, where the plural form of El is Elohim. And you got to be asking yourself this question right now. Because if you're learning Hebrew from a teacher, and your Hebrew teacher hasn't told you this yet, and you can see it for yourself clearly now for the first time, then you should be firing your Hebrew teacher starting today. Instead of criticizing people, have a conversation and ask them why. Instead of trying to degrade and belittle people's scholarship, have a conversation and ask them why. What I'm really saying is, be man enough to ask people to sit down one-on-one with you. Don't form a huddle in the front of the bodega with K2 in your hand and try to critique people who are more qualified than you in the language that you're attempting to critique. Because clearly, just because the Hebrew word Elohim ends in a masculine plural does not in and of itself qualify it as a masculine noun. We have examples of masculine words with feminine nouns. The Hebrew word father, av, becomes avot, a feminine noun in the plural. The Hebrew word isha becomes nashim, a masculine plural. Who the hell teaches y'all Hebrew? Somebody tell me. And now let me move on to the Hebrew word chawa. But before I do, let's play the video of them critiquing my use of the Hebrew word chawa. If you guys are enjoying this video, throw up the video and share the live stream. And don't forget to donate to the platform. And now, let's listen to them critique me on the word chawa, Eve. Because I said that the word more properly should be rendered as speaking life or speaking things into existence. But everybody said I was wrong, because after all, and I think that this wasn't a bad critique, I'll add, here's me being transparent, I don't think that their critique of me saying chawa is or means to speak life into existence. BK apologists and Adam Coleman, I don't think that BK apologists, you were on K2 for that comment. Adam Coleman, I don't think you were wrong for that comment, because I think that both of your comments are based on what the Bible says, right? In naming Eve, for she was the mother of all living. I understand why you said that, but I am going to sit you down in my class right now, live, and teach you why it is that her name should be properly rendered as to speak life, not just simply the mother of all living. Class is in session, and here we go.
Female guys, I just want to put that out there. That's what he was saying.
Yeah, he's giving us the resume. He's giving us the resume.
Yeah, I'm just saying. He was like, y'all can believe what I'm saying, because I done dated several guys, several Eves.
So he says here, the very first woman in the Bible, her name, wait, let me get in here. All right. Her name is Eve, right? In English, but remember, the biblical canon is a Hebrew text, so that means her name is Hawa. Her name means to speak things into existence. Strong's Concordance, Hawa, life, the first woman. Original word, parts of speech, proper name, feminine. It means life.
Stop right there. Do I need to play that again? Where he clearly says, Strong's Concordance, the Hebrew word Hawa, it means life. Should I play that again so that we have him on record, so that they can't accuse me of what I've been demonstrating tonight, that they've been misrepresenting my argument? I'm going to play what he said again, so that he cannot say what I am valid in saying, that he's misrepresenting my argument. I don't want him to say I'm misrepresenting his argument. So we're going to make sure we get him on record that Hawa means life. Make sure everybody can see it, and I'm going to play it again so you can hear it, and then watch me come back once again and embarrass him.
Her name means to speak things into existence. Strong's Concordance, Hawa, life, the first woman. Original word, parts of speech, proper name, feminine. It means life. Not speaking life. It's just life. It's just life, right? But let's continue. As she's being introduced into the narrative of the Bible, she's said to be called Ezra Kenego. Actually, he says it correctly. Like by the way, Zion can read Hebrew.
What did he just say? What did he just say? Let's play that last part again. Did he just say, by the way, he does say it correct. Zion Lexx can read Hebrew. But you pronouncing God as Elohim clearly tells us you don't read Hebrew. Yet, you arrogate it to yourself in a very vainglorious way that you could critique someone who clearly has a skill set that you don't. I actually read the language. Let's play that back one more time. By the way, that's an endorsement. I'm going to save that as a voiceover. Thank you very much, BK Apologists.
Life, the first woman. Original word, parts of speech, proper name, feminine. It means life. Not speaking life. It's just life. It's just life, right? But let's continue. As she's being introduced into the narrative of the Bible, she's said to be called Ezra Kenego. Actually, he says it correctly. Like by the way, Zion can read Hebrew. Like he legit can read it.
Sure.
So I just want to just say that. And by the term Azar, we're talking about a deliverer or a savior. Now watch this. The Bible says only God is a savior. Yet when the first woman is introduced, the Torah says that she shall be man's Ezar. She shall be his deliverer. It's just life, right?
Okay, so we're going to stop there. I already talked about Isaiah 7:12. We already beat him up on that point. So let's now talk about the word Chawa, which he says once again does not mean to speak life. It simply is the Hebrew word for life. Everybody heard him loud and clear. So watch him get embarrassed with ease once more. Family, thumb up the video and share the live stream. We are in rare form today. Make sure you support the platform. I'll be right back. All right, here we go. Now let's go all the way back to the very beginning of my PowerPoint. And this is where we end BK apologists, Adam Coleman, and all cap Malone. In the Bible, Genesis chapter 3, verse 20, Eve is introduced. Adam gives her a name. It says, and God called Adam, Vayikra ha'Adam, and Adam called Shem Ishto, the name of his wife, Chawa. For Ki Haita En Kal Chai. So she is the mother of all living. And if you look, I even have the vowels here, you can see Chawa, right? And if you look next to the word living, right here, the Hebrew word next to the English word living, that's the Hebrew word for life, Chai. And guess what? For what I'm about to show you now, you don't need to read Hebrew to see and understand this. Look at the spelling of Chawa, Eve's name. And now look at the spelling for the Hebrew word for life. Notice the Hebrew word for Eve's name is spelled Chet Wav He, and it's pronounced Chawa. Notice the Hebrew word for life is pronounced Chet Yod. No wow in it whatsoever. So when you want to say life in Hebrew, there's two ways you can spell life in Hebrew. You can spell it by its binary root, Chet Yod, as you see on the screen, or you could spell Chet Yod He, Chaya. And that's the word for life. And so you can clearly see that Eve's name shares in some of the root for life, the base, but it is not altogether the word for life, because the word for life contains the letter Yod. Eve's name does not have a letter Yod in it whatsoever. And watch this. In Psalms 19:2, it says, day unto day utters speech, night unto night declares knowledge, or Yom le-yom, Yavia, Omer ve-laila, Laila, Yahweh. I want everybody to look at that word for reveals or to tell or declare. The letter Yod here is acting as a prefix, right? But the root of this word is Chet Wav He, just like Eve's name, Chawa. Notice it means to tell or to reveal. not just life. And so clearly, it takes someone who actually knows Hebrew to point this out. Because Eve's name is not exactly spelled the same way that the word for life is in Hebrew, which is Chai or Chaya, which is spelled Chet Yod or Chet Yod He. Eve's name is spelled Chet Wav He. Now, Adam Coleman, BK apologist, and Vocab Malone, I know that doesn't mean anything to you because you don't care enough about the Bible to want to learn how to read it. I know that you don't care enough about the Bible to learn how to read it in its original language, so the spelling doesn't mean anything to you. But to people who actually read the language, we know that the meaning of a Hebrew word primarily comes from its sound and its spelling. You change the spelling, you change the meaning. You change the pronunciation, you have also changed the meaning. Right in Psalms 19:2, and I'll pull it up now on the live Summer Jam screen for everybody to see, where it says, night unto night speaks knowledge. That word used for speak or declare or to tell is Yehaweh, which the root is Chawa. But you don't got to believe me, because unlike these nincompoops, I'm going to show you. So here we go. Thank you very much. Shout out to my brother, always supportive. Shout out to my brother Gartrell. I see you, Aki. He says, Zion Lexx, your scholarship is untouchable, Moray. In the words of the Bible, let another man praise you and not yourself. Thank you very much, my brother. All praises to the Most High. And here we go. In Psalms 19, it says, the heavens declare the glory of God, and the firmament shows his handiwork. Day unto day utters speech. Night unto night reveals knowledge. Well, what do you have here? What is the Hebrew word for revealed knowledge? Yahweh. And let's click on that strong concordance number really quick, because we want to know what is the root of this word that is used here to mean to declare or to speak. Oh, the root is Hawa, as in the same exact name as Eve. And so this is why I said earlier that the people y'all criticizing, you really should and need to be learning from. And this should be a message out there to anybody that jumps out the window. You better know your stuff when you come for me, because I am well armed, well equipped, and well trained with the full armor of God. And while I can be destroyed because I'm just a male, and while I can sin because I'm just a human, none of you out there can destroy me because none of you out there made me. But in fact, each and every one of us is made by God, so the only person that can destroy any of us is God Almighty himself. And so as a parent chastises their child, and the Torah compares a teacher and a disciple to a parent on a child, I'm not saying that I'm murdering you literally, but I'm murdering your scholarship, and I am spanking you with this knowledge. Because even I can't destroy you. God has a reason and a purpose for you too. And right now, in part, that purpose is getting that work and that smoke from Zion Lexx. Because clearly, the root, and let's go back again for the people in the cheap seats. Let's go back again. Day unto day utters speech. Night unto night reveals knowledge. What's that word for reveal? Knowledge? Oh, it's the Hebrew word Yahweh. What's the Strong's number? 2331. Let's click on it. What does Strong say the root is? Chawa. What is the definition? To tell or to declare. With that being said, family, throw up the video and share the live. All praises to the Most High. When I go live, I come to defend the Bible. When I go live, I come to defend his people. When I go live, I come to speak this truth. May you all have a blessed day. Hebrew class, I'll see you at 6 p.m. We have a special lecture on Ashkenaz and its connection to Gog and Magog. That's for Patreon members only. You got to be a gold or platinum member to view it. If you want to sign up for our Hebrew classes, email me at zionlex@gmail.com. To everybody else, have a beautiful and pleasant day. All praises to the Most High. And I'm out.
If you want to have a better view on how the Bible looks at women in its proper context, then you should get these two books. Matriarchs of the Covenant, written by Abdil Ben Levi, popularly known as Zion Lexx. This is a masterpiece.
I wash my natural hair and my face with the same product because natural hair care is easy. Natural skin care is easy. Don't make it hard.
Still haven't tried the Locklicious all natural hair care product line? Well, let's hear what the Lock community has to say about it.
I love how it sprays and how it fills you guys. Like, it feels so good. And it smells amazing, you guys.
The Lock and Twist moisturizer was really good for me. The hydration mist was phenomenal.
This is the bomb, baby. I was really impressed, kind of blown away, and I think that if you're struggling, definitely go check them out.
And check out the 5-star reviews on our website. So, what are you waiting for? Go to locklicious.com to start treating your crown like royalty.